How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. This right here is a market analysis update, for you guys. We can kind of sit together and really analyze and take a look at what has happened. Of course, we did see a market doing exactly what we anticipated yesterday. We did see a major, drop within the crypto markets as well as the equity markets. A lot of fear across the board, a lot of manipulation also because, there was a fake announcement coming out how, it was in regards to there's not going to be any pauses on, these tariffs consideration, but that was false. And then that also had a major impact on, the S&P 500 as well as the crypto space. But you are starting to see a little bit of a relief rally, within, the crypto markets as well as, the traditional markets. But the question right here is this the end? Because we will see, remember, when you do see markets tumbling so much towards the downside, which we actually have seen over the course of the last few days, there is going to come a time where you do see a little bit of a bounce. A little bit of a bounce is needed, and that is what we actually did see happening. But the question is this a time to be getting excited? That's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. But before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So if you're examining, the broader market, we're seeing, a sea of green. Usually we are noticing, a sea of red over the day in, day out. Again, in the grand scheme of things, if you're looking at it on the weekly time frame, monthly time frame, you are seeing a lot of coins down except Fartcoin up 122%, which again is making some headlines. If you want to see Fartcoin updates, do let me know in the comments down below. But you guys can see across the board, even though we're seeing a little bit of a bounce right now for the altcoin market, is this really a time to be getting excited? That's what we're going to be discussing. But I'm not sure if I said the disclaimer, but I'll say it again. Before we get into it, as always, just a quick disclaimer. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always, always, always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. But anyhow, 70 countries have reached out to the President Trump, to negotiate new trade deals, Treasury Secretary Besson says. And I think, this obviously has had a positive impact on, the crypto market, the traditional market. You did see the market obviously going into the green. But again, open to negotiations. We don't really know how the outcome is going to be at the end of the day. And you have seen a lot of, unclear things happening regarding these tariffs. We have seen market tumbling towards the downside a few different times, due to these announcements. So we really don't know for sure, whether or not there is going to be a resolution, with these massive, amounts of countries regarding the tariffs. European Union also just came out and said, they're going to be putting a 25% tariff on U.S. goods. And also, I think China is still, not kind of budging. So, of course, those are some factors that, a lot of people need to consider. But if you're looking at this, look at this. Apologies. President Trump against, Fed Chair Powell. Trump has now called on Powell to cut, the rates multiple times over the past 5 days. Meanwhile, Powell said he's not in a hurry to cut the rates. And in the odds, no cut is in May, are up to 71%. Powell wants higher for longer. So again, with the way things are going, with the way the stock market has seen, a major, flash, a lot of eyes on it, basically, a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. If we still don't see a rate cut of 25 BPS, I think markets are going to tumble once again towards the downside. So we'll see what happens. It's a very, very, weird situation that we're seeing here right now. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But again, I want you guys to take a look at the dominance index right now. If you're looking at the dominance index here, dominance index is skyrocketing still, 63.57%. Yes, we have pulled down over the course of the last, 48 hours. But in the grand scheme of things, the dominance is still quite high. If you're looking at Bitcoin, though, Bitcoin did end up closing its daily candle above $79,000, which again, not a bad thing. But with that said, it has a long, long ways to go. We touched right at the neckline of the 0.50 fib zone. Of course, we haven't really retested the 73.6K range. Obviously, that is such a significant support line. And if we drop below it, we're retesting some of the levels, pre-Donald Trump, meaning, before Donald Trump was elected as the president. So, those are some factors to be looking out for. But the fact that, we have seen a little bit of a bounce. Again, if you want to put this bounce into perspective, we're looking at about 8% give or take. 7% give or take, for BTC. And of course, that's going to have an impact on the altcoin market. And you're looking at the altcoin market reacting in a positive way. But with that said, I think we are not out of the woods just yet. This could be a clear dead cat bounce. Reason why I say that is because we have seen something similar happening, throughout the past, 1 month now, since these tariffs conversations are really occurring. So again, in terms of uncertainty, in terms of fear, I still think it's there. And I think we still need to be examining, the way things are going. But I'll keep you guys covered. Of course, if the price of Bitcoin is able to, get back above 80K, make its way back up to the likes of the 38.2, we could see short term, gradual increase. But I think there is more pain yet to come. Based off of what's happening globally. Again, no one can really time perfectly as when the bottom is going to be. So best strategy if you are wanting to dollar cost average into the coins that you like, whether that's Solana, whether that's XRP, whether that's Cardano, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever the case may be. The best strategy is to dollar cost average in. Let's say you've done your due diligence research and have invested where you can afford to lose. Then dollar cost averaging is your best bet because you can never time when the bottom is going to be. But let me know down below what you guys think. What are you guys doing right now? What are your personal projections? Where do you see certain coins going? Where do you see the price of Bitcoin going? Are you guys on the same page as me? Do you think we are not out of the woods yet for the broader market? Or do you think we have seen all the red that we were going to see? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, we'll see you later. It's been Crypto ZX and peace out.